What's up everyone, Darcblade here with a one-off special video for Uncharted 3's multiplayer. It's about tournament mode that has been introduced with patch 1.13. Basically, tournament mode is almost like a wager type mode. You are given 10 tickets at the start of each week. You can bet these tickets on how well you perform in various games. Unfortunately, the games you can only bet on are team deathmatch based games, so hardcore, free-for-all, free team deathmatch and normal team deathmatch. So before a match starts, you place your ticket down on the match, saying that I'm going to do well in that match and I'm also going to win that match. At the end of the match, you will be given points on how well you've done, your kill-death ratio for example, and how many assists you got. And you will only receive these points if your team actually won the match. After you've spent all your tickets, at the end of the tournament week, the amount of points you've earned will put you into one of 3 tiers if you do manage to make the qualifications and get the right amount of points for these tiers. These will reward you with various prizes. For example, if you make the bronze tier, which is 8,500 points, you will receive golden weapons for the next week. It's a real shame that these prizes only seem to last a week. I'm not 100% sure if it's right, but from reading the forums and talking to people, it seems to be true. The only permanent prize from doing this is the Jinn skin, basically the smoking skeleton. If you're able to get into the gold tier 6 times, you will be permanently gifted with this reward, which is a great addition, but I just think that the other prizes should be a bit more permanent as well. You can buy additional tickets for hard-earned money from the PlayStation Store, which should help you get to the additional tier levels, but I'm not sure how worth it is in the end. You can tell you're in a tournament mode as well, because there'll be a gold ticket down in the bottom right-hand corner. But anyway, the aim of this video is to show you my progress and how well I did doing tournament mode for the first week. This was the results and highlights of match 1, which you can see me and my partner, Sackboy, won quite comfortably. We decided to play free team deathmatch and team up, but with only 2 of us, because in tournament mode, the more you put into a team, the bigger the reduction of points you get at the end of the match. For example, me and Sackboy here, we each would have a 20% reduction because there are 2 of us in a team. But if you have up to sort of like 4 others in your team, then you're going to incur 80% reduction in points, which, to be honest, unless you're buying tickets, is going to hit you quite hard. We thought we would get away with it with just the 2 of us and still earn enough points to at least get into the bronze tier. We thought free team deathmatch would benefit most from a partnership. At least I thought it would be better than going into normal team deathmatch. In normal team deathmatch, there's a high chance you can come up against pre-made teams of 5. In which case, if you did use a ticket, you would probably be wasting it coming up against a team like that. Anyway, me and Sackboy decided to team up, jump into free team deathmatch, use some tickets and hopefully earn enough points to qualify us for one of the tiers. I personally was trying to get to bronze tier at least, so I could try out the golden weapons, see what they felt like to use and what they looked like. I didn't really have any hopes or dreams at getting the silver or gold tier, at least not yet. The score needed for these 2 tiers is quite high, and I personally think you're going to either have to spend money on extra tickets from the PSN store, or you're going to have to be extremely good or lucky and play by yourself in team deathmatch or something like that. Now, as you can see, the match is getting to the halfway point, almost. It's quite tense. The matches you do spend tickets on, you want to do well in. You don't want to lose. And when there is a team that is keeping up with your team, for example, here you can see the red team is very close to our score, well, it gets the heart pumping. The only thing I find is when your heart is pumping fast, especially when you're trying to win at a game, well, it can be detrimental. Normally, when I'm concentrating and trying my hardest, I play my worst. When I'm not really caring about what happens, then I actually play quite good. And as you can see, the red team came back and won. I think this was mainly because me and Sackboy decided to play too cautious. We were holding back a bit, trying to wait for them to come to us, and as a result, the red team just destroyed the yellow team and managed to actually catch up with our score and eventually beat us. Anyway, going into the 3rd game now, the red team stayed put, but the yellow team quit. So there's a new yellow team, but the red team is the same here. Though me and Sackboy lost the previous match against them, we felt that we should have won the last match. So we thought we would give it a rematch and see if we can do any better. It was a shame that I did waste a ticket because we did lose, and thus all my points, all my kills, deaths were negated because you didn't actually get the win. This was a shame, but I think you can actually get away with a loss or 2 and still qualify for the bronze tier at least. This match was actually one of my favourite matches out of the series of 10 I played, simply because it was quite even, to a point where I didn't feel I was getting overpowered or that I was unjustly, you know, cheated out of kills and things like that, but because it felt even, but it also felt like we still had a chance of winning. It was quite good actually, because this match did go into overtime and eventually it went into sudden death. So as well as spending a ticket on it, the fact that it's gone into overtime and then sudden death, well, that really got the heart pumping. I really did enjoy myself in this match. I personally feel I should have done better. Normally my score is not so low, I normally have a better kill death ratio, but saying that, the red team were good opponents, so I am quite pleased that, well, we even got into overtime, let alone sudden death with them. I personally have not been in many overtime or sudden death matches, and to experience one when you've got a bet on it, it's really great. It's a great feeling. The stakes are higher, so the adrenaline is rushing, and you just want to win. And as we go into overtime, you can see what happens here. The red team rush a little bit more, hoping that we'll follow them into that building where they can bottleneck and get a choke point on us. But because we've got a higher ground advantage, we are able to pick them off a bit better than they are us. And as you can see, one falls, and soon after the second one falls, especially with me and Sackboy shooting at him at the same time. So that picks up a second win for me. That's 2 wins and 1 loss so far. I was getting about 1,200 on average points per win. But you have to remember, this was on average. Sometimes when I performed better, I would get a lot more points. I remember the most I got was 1,800 for one match, but that was a match where I performed quite exceptionally. You also have to take into account that I am in a party, so I am getting a 20% reduction from just teaming up with someone. Anyway, we go into match 4 here on City of Brass. This level doesn't actually come up for me that much, but I do quite enjoy it. It's quite a small map, and for 3-team deathmatch, it fits quite nicely. Now, patch 1.13 has been out a little while now, and its effects are slowly starting to seep into the community. I still hear a few complaints. For example, now the Gmail has been nerfed. The M9 with rapid fire has become the most prominent gun in the game. Everyone seems to be using it. I personally find myself actually switching to it too, because I feel that the Gmail cannot keep up with the amount of power and damage that the M9 with rapid fire can do. Now, I understand that the M9 should have always been able to beat the Gmail at close range, but even at long range now, the M9 still seems to be a little bit more superior to the Gmail, which I think is wrong. This, of course, is my personal opinion. You might have experienced it differently. You still might think that the Gmail is vastly superior to the other guns. But that being said, no matter what the game is, there's always going to be one weapon that's going to be more powerful than the others. Even if it's by a slight difference, one gun is always going to get a lot of stick over the other guns in the game. I'd love to hear what you think is the most overpowered gun at the moment, especially since the patches came out. Anyway, as you can see, me and Sackboy lost that match. So at the moment it's 2 wins and 2 losses. My chances for the bronze tier are slowly dwindling. Let's hope I can do better here in the 5th match. Match 5 was on the Graveyard, one of my favourite DLC levels. This is because of the water element on it. There isn't many maps that have water or allow for water combat, and this one seems to be the level that has the most water on it. So, of course I'm going to love it, because it's different from the other maps out there, and it allows for different forms of combat. That actually brings me to a point I wanted to bring up. Naughty Dog said that they had fixed, inverted commas over the fixed word, the DLC toggle to allow you to play on more of the DLC maps. But since the patch, and since playing for quite a bit, I have yet to play on a single flashback map pack map. Now for me, the maps that show up the most are the maps from the Uncharted 3 DLC. So Graveyard, Old Quarters, Oasis, them maps. That's not too bad, because I actually do quite enjoy them, apart from Oasis. I'm not too keen on that one. But I love Graveyard, and I have got no problem on playing on these maps. But apart from that, the other maps that show up almost all the time are London Underground and Airstrip still. I thought Naughty Dog had fixed this because I was hoping I could get a variety in and at least finish off my Charting the Map series. But the way it is at the moment, the rate these maps pop up, I'm going to be doing this for about another year probably. It might just be me. I might be just very unlucky, but it does seem a bit fishy to me. Now, it may seem like I'm unhappy with the patch, but I'm not. I'm really not. I've bitched a bit about it, but these are just nitpicking. I am actually quite pleased with the patch. I feel it's brought a new lease of life towards the multiplayer, especially for me. The fact that they've got new legacy modes, the tournament mode, and so much character customization now really makes me enjoy the game that much more. Anyway, back to talking about the actual match. This match was probably the match we did the best in all evening. Out of the 10 tickets, this was the match that I earned the most points in. I did quite well myself. We seemed to dominate, especially from the halfway point. There was a point where all the teams were sort of even, and then for some reason just everything fell into place for me and Sackboy, and we were getting kills left, right and centre, finding where people were spawning, just dominating basically. This was quite a good morale boost as well, because I was on 2 wins and 2 losses. I needed this to be a win in order to stand any chance of getting into the bronze tier. I could have got more points for playing on my own here as well for this match, but part of me also thinks that the fact that I did so well in the match was because I was teamed up with someone who I trust and who I know is good. At the end of the day, look at it like this. Is it worth that 20% to play with someone who can help you win the match? I think it is, and that's exactly what happened here. Now at this point I felt I was still in with a chance of getting the bronze tier, but then this happened, one of my biggest complaints to Naughty Dog, and that is the matchmaking in 3-team deathmatch. When one team backs out the lobby, one of the other teams are split up into 2. So me and Sackboy got separated. One of us was on the red team, one of us was on the blue team. Great. The other 2 guys were an organised team. How were we supposed to really win against them? I mean, me and Sackboy ain't bad players and that. I would even say Sackboy's better than me. But we were against a team that were voice communicating with each other and seemed to know what they were doing, so things were not looking good. Also, the fact that we got separated lowered our morale, and when your morale's down, you don't play as good. The worst thing about this was that I spent a ticket on this match. Normally I would just quit, back out, and then come back in, regroup, start matching. But because I had spent a ticket, I had to try to win. Otherwise, I would just be throwing that ticket away. It made it so if you do rage quit, or quit normally, or get even disconnected, you lose your ticket, unfortunately, which is a big shame. The most frustrating thing about this happening was that it really ruined my chances of getting into any of the tiers. I still might have been able to make the bronze tier, but even that was looking doubtful now. The only way I could really make bronze is if I had a series of really excellent games, but the way I was playing that day, I doubt it. Eventually me and Sackboy got public teammates, but this is always a lucky dip. You're never really sure how good your teammate is going to be if they are a public pickup. As a result, the yellow team were able to dominate, even though me and Sackboy tried to put up the best fight as we could. And as a result, I'm now 3-3. 3 wins and 3 losses. This really annoyed me because, like I said, it dashed any hopes of me getting any of the higher tiers, but oh well, it was my first attempt at tournament mode, and you live and learn. Whether I'll do tournament mode in 3-team deathmatch again is a question, because this happened in the 7th game. It happened again. Me and Sackboy were put on separate teams. Big sigh. You can see I had wasted another ticket on this match, which was probably going to waste. The yellow team, though, this time were not an organised team communicating with each other, so maybe me or Sackboy did have a chance of beating them. Anyway, me and Sackboy pushed on, hoping to win. We were eventually joined by public teammates. My teammate happened to be quite good as well. This eventually meant that my team actually won, but unfortunately I didn't perform that good, so I didn't get that higher score. It pretty much put me out of the running to get into any of the tiers, which was quite disappointing actually. I did have 3 tickets left after this match, so me and Sackboy did go into normal team deathmatch. Because I knew I was out of the runnings for any tier, I didn't film these, but we did come up against a team of 5 people on the same side, so I kind of lost my tickets on them. For me, it seemed that you were able to back out your ticket before the match started. I might have been wrong, but if that is true, that's quite good, and I wish that was implemented into 3-team deathmatch. So overall, tournament mode is not a bad mode. It puts a nice feel of competition into matches. It gives you a sense of importance on winning too, so it's quite a challenge. So the tips I've learned from playing tournament mode are, if you do want to team up, maybe team up with just about 1 other person. A pair seems to be the sweet number. Any more and you risk too great a penalty on your points. If you do want to play Team Deathmatch, watch out for teams of 5. Don't bet a ticket if you do come across one of these pre-made teams, otherwise you'll probably just waste it. Be cautious when you go into free Team Deathmatch as well, as lobbies can screw you over sometimes. If you really are set on trying to unlock the gym, the gold tier, then maybe hold off from doing any legacy modes. Doing it at a higher level with gold boosters increases your chance of winning, and you need all the chances you can get if you want to unlock the gold tier. That being said though, you could just always go to the PlayStation Store and buy the extra tickets you need in order to get up to the gold tier. I personally won't be doing this, but I'm sure some people out there will. Anyway, I've been Darcblade, bringing you my Uncharted 3 tournament special, showing you what I did with my first 10 tickets in tournament mode on Uncharted 3's multiplayer. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been a little bit longer than normal, but I still hope you enjoyed it. So thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.